"Drink this, first," Ho ordered, "and then you shall have some tea, and then a chicken wing. If you are very good, you shall have a pickle tomorrow. And now, we'll have supper." He drew up the other chair. The tea brightened the girl's eyes and brought back some of her color. She began to eat hurriedly like some starved wild animal. She did not seem surprised at Rudolph's presence in her room. She took his help as a natural thing. But when she had finished her meal, she told him her little story. It was one of 1,000 that happen in the city every day. The shop girl's story of small wages and big fines that helped to make the shop's profit so large. A story of illness and then of lost job, of lost hope. And the knock of the adventurer upon the green door. "To think of you going through all that," he exclaimed. "It was something awful," said the girl. "And you have no relatives or friends in the city?" "None whatever. I am alone in the world too," said Rudolph after a pause. "I am glad of that," said the girl, and her words pleased the young man. Suddenly her eyes closed and she said, "I am awfully sleepy, and I feel so good." Rudolph rose and took his hat. "Then I shall say good night. A long night's sleep will be fine for you." He held out his hand, and she took it and said, "Good night." But her eyes asked a question so frankly and pathetically that he answered it with words. "Oh, I am coming back tomorrow to see how you are getting along. You can't get rid of me so easily." When he was at the door, she suddenly asked, "And why did you knock at my door?" He looked at her for a moment. He remembered the cards. But he decided that she must never know the truth. He would never tell her that he knew of the strange means she had used to get help. "One of our piano tuners lives in this house," he said. "I knocked at your door by mistake." The last thing he saw in the room, before the green door closed, was her smile. At the landing he looked with great interest about him. Then he went along the landing to its other end, and coming back, went up to the next floor. Every door that he found in the house was painted green. Wondering, he went down into the street. The Negro was still there. Rudolph went up to him, with his 2 cards in his hands. "Will you tell me why you gave me these 2 cards and what they mean?" he asked. The Negro smiled at him. "Oh, it is there," he said, pointing down the street. "But I am afraid you are late for the first act." Rudolph looked the way the Negro pointed and saw above the entrance to a theater the electric sign of its new play, The Green Door. "It is a first-rate show, sir," said the Negro. "The agent of the theater gave me $1 and asked me to hand out a few of his cards along with the dentist's. May I give you one of the doctor's cards?" "Sir." At the corner of the street in which he lived, Rudolph stopped for a glass of beer. When he came out, he buttoned his coat, pushed back his hat and said very seriously to the lamp post on the corner, "All the same, I believe it was the hand of fate that showed me the way to find her." That conclusion shows that Rudolf Steiner was certainly a true adventurer.